live is to live with a clear conscience. And what I hadn't done is develop how do you get there, so that today I'm going to offer just a few things on how do you get there. That's okay? Yes, just how do we do that? It won't be complicated. You know, I don't complicate things. So let's pull up a few scriptures. 2 Corinthians again, chapter 1. Let's see what Paul, and I'm going to read the story for you. Paul was reading it, and just pay attention to the words that he used. I didn't underline everything. We don't want you to be ignorant, brethren, of our trouble, which came to us in Asia, that we were burdened beyond measure. They actually thought they were going to die, that they weren't going to survive this situation. And this had happened over and over again. We were pressed beyond measure, above strength, so that we despaired even of life. In other words, they had given themselves the sentence of death. When they hugged and embraced each other, shook hands, and in essence came to the conclusion, we're probably not going to survive this. They made peace. And that's what Paul is writing about, that what transpired at that moment. And that's not nothing that we often think about. It facing death, so to speak, in the face. You don't think about all of that. But here it is. Paul is facing death in the face. So they interact with each other. It says, yes, we had the sentence of death in ourselves, which is what I just said, that we should not trust in ourselves, but in God, who raised the dead. See, they were already talking about we'll see each other in the resurrection. Look what he went on to say. Not trust in ourselves, but in God who raised the dead, who delivered, us from so great a death, because they were at the point of death. He acknowledged that God delivered and does deliver us, whom we trust, that he will still deliver us. You also helping together in your prayers. Pay attention to that now. You helping together in your prayers, that thanks may be given by many persons on our behalf for the gift granted to us through many. So Paul is saying, you contribute to our deliverance through your constant praying for us in the situation. Never stop praying for people. Don't care where they are, what state. He acknowledged God did it. But your prayers played an important part in the deliverance. You helping, not helping God, but helping by praying in your prayer. And the scripture confirmed that the prayers of the righteous avail. That's right here. What he's saying is that the prayers of the righteous avail. Avail, actually, we don't use the word avail. That's kind of old English. We use the word prevail. So a better word in common English would be the prayer of the righteous prevails. The last scripture says, for our boasting is this, bragging, the testimony of our conscience, that we conducted ourselves in the world in simplicity and godly sincerity. That's what we bragging and boasting about. The testimony of our conscience. You'll deal with that right there. We conducted ourselves in the world with godly sincerity, not with fleshly wisdom, but by the grace of God and more abundantly toward you. So I put that last statement because 12 is where I want to focus. I put it in other translations to make it just that verse so you can get it. In the Passion Version, that one verse 12, it says, we rejoice in saying, that's what he was saying, but this is the more way we talk. Our boasting is what he used in that language. Today's English, we would say just what he put in. We rejoice in saying with complete honesty. Look at now how it's reading out. We rejoice, we just read our boasting. We rejoice in saying with complete honesty and what?
Clear conscience.
We rejoiced in saying this. That with complete honesty and a clear conscience, that our faith in God led us to conduct ourselves in a holy manner and with no hidden agenda. Ooh. At the point of death, when we thought we were going to die, that we wasn't going to survive, what was our joy? But we wasn't glad that we were going to die. But our mind wasn't on dying. Our mind was on how we had conducted ourselves up until this point. That we had lived honorably, with godly sincerity, with a clear conscience, and godly simplicity. We didn't lie, steal, cheat. In another place, Paul says, I didn't give you the word like a magician, as one beaten into the air, pulling a rabbit out of a hat. I gave you his word with honesty and truth, with no spirit of manipulation. I wasn't trying to play you. That's a frame of mind, not just when you're facing death. That's how we ought to live every day. What is that prayer the older saints used to pray? That at the end of the day, the close of the day, or the close of life, I have no friends to reward or no enemies to punish. They used to pray that, the older deacon, whatever. I have no friends to reward and no enemies to punish. That's a place to live in. That at the end of the day, when I let out every night, my mind and my spirit is, I got no friends to reward or no enemies to punish. I'm at peace. My conscience is clear. So that translation says, this is our joy. That with complete honesty and a clear conscience, our faith in God led us to conduct ourselves in a holy manner with no hidden agenda. The amplified version of that same verse 12 reads this way. This is our reason for proud confidence. Just another way of saying joy or rejoice. This is our reason for proud confidence. Here it is again. Look at the words used. Our conscience testifies that we have conducted ourselves in the world, and especially toward you, with pure motives and godly sincerity. See what it's getting at? Counselor is saying that. All right. Here are the three things that I'm going to bring out of that right there. I put it in where you can get it. I'm not going to focus on all of them, but I just want to bring it. He said, first thing he said is that God delivered. So, God is a deliverer. He thanks God for his delivering power. Touch your neighbor and say, God is a deliverer. He has delivering power. Come on, tell him, he still delivers.
He still delivers.
Shame on you if you go through life and don't believe that God is a deliverer. That means that you're going to die in your situation. I don't care what come up on me. As long as David said there's life, there is hope. Job said that there's hope even though a tree is cut down to the ground at the stop, but because of at the roots, but because of the roots that's down under the ground, with a little bit of water, over time it'll sprout back up again. Because long as there's life, there is hope. That's exactly right. Keep hope alive. Don't lose your hope. I don't care what it looks like. Don't lose your. Sometimes hope is all you have, but it's all you need. Because hope is another word for faith in God. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I'm yet holding on. I'm hoping that it's going to change. And hope is what's going to keep me going when everything else says no. hope. So Paul acknowledges God's delivering power. Thank God for delivering power.
Yes, sir.
Brings that up in the reading that we just. The second thing he brings up is the power of corporate prayer.
Wow.
Because he said, you help by praying. Through much prayer, you help our situation. There is power in prayer. There's power in corporate prayer. And Paul acknowledges the value of corporate prayer. That's why the scripture is so adamant about pray ye one for another. You know, the fervent prayer of the righteous prevails and so forth, James said. So he thanks them for their praying for them in that situation. He acknowledges the two things already. He acknowledges God's delivering power. He acknowledges and thank them for the power of corporate prayer. He shows that, the value of it. He thanks him for it. And then the third thing he talks about is the having a clear conscience. As he said, our rejoicing is this, that with complete honesty and a clear conscience, we have behaved and conducted ourselves. We have lived a manner of life that at the close of the day, if it was our time to go, our conscience was clear. There was no situation that I need to try to take care of, or I'm not on my bed trying to figure out, am I going to get in because I got situations that I did not deal with properly, and so forth and so on. Got to live.